Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to my 3 Takeaways episode from the Terri Britt interview this past Monday. I hope you guys felt like you could really relate with Terri and the different struggles that she's gone through, the different experiences that she's gone through with her relationships, with Miss USA, with the different self-talk, self-love processes and things and struggles that she's gone through and how she's been able to work through them. I think a lot of us can take a lot of the things that she's been able to do and learn from and be able to try to implement into our own lives to help us with those same sorts of struggles. But if you guys haven't listened to the episode yet, go back, give it a listen. It's a powerful episode. She talks about the Miss USA pageant and why she thinks she won it, some of the terrible relationships that she had earlier on when she was a young woman, and a bunch of other things on self-love and how she currently calls herself a love expert and how we can all begin to live life for ourselves. And that can help us get a little bit closer to the best version of ourselves. But if you haven't given it a listen, give it a 5-star review. Guys, if you're on the Apple Podcast app, give it a quick 5-star review. That would go a long way in helping this podcast grow a little bit further, reach a little bit more people. I know if you're here listening, you're getting something from this podcast, right? So please do me a quick favor. I don't ask for anything. Just give me a 5-star review. Give it a quick comment on what you like, what your biggest takeaways are. That would do a huge solid for me and helping me grow. That's actually one of my top goals right now. I haven't really been as focused on getting reviews on my podcast, but I realized that that's a really important thing in terms of growing the podcast. And I've always really known that, but I've never set it as a specific goal, and that's what I'm doing right now. So if you guys could help me get a little bit closer to reaching that goal and giving me a 5-star review and maybe sharing it with another friend or family member who you think might get a little bit from this 3 Takeaways episode or from the episode with Terri Britt, then that would be a great help as well to share it out. But for now, let's get right into my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is be unapologetically authentic. And I think we need to be unapologetically a lot of things. Unapologetically curious, I think, but authentic is what I get from Terri Britt, because that's why she thinks she won the Miss USA pageant. She talked about the interview with Bob Barker when they were in the top 12. And she said that in Alabama, in the summer, they go to Tasty Freeze. They go to the back of a friend's pickup truck. They have a friend that plays the banjo. The guys drink beer and dip a little skull, and it's a real good time. And I think that is really important to know. Like this, she won Miss USA back in 1982, and that is something that people saw her true authenticity that came through, and people just embraced that authenticity from her because they thought it was super cool, because a lot of people would hide something like that because they might think it's a flaw. And I feel like that's so pertainable to nowadays in terms of kind of like social media is put your real self out there, and people are going to be more accepting of your real self than you actually think that they might be. And another really good quote that I liked from Terri is she said that your true miracles show up when you're authentic. When you're truly yourself, that's when you can really max out the different goals that you have. When you're truly yourself, that's when you can actually maximize who you are as a person and the different miracles and the different superpowers that you have. Takeaway number 2 is the title of the episode: Live Your Life for You. And it's not in a selfish way. What's selfish is not bringing your best self, your best you, to your loved ones. Because you can't do that unless you take care of yourself first. And I think a lot of people hear a lot that you have to take care of yourself first, but I really like thinking of it in terms of this way. Like, it's selfish not to be your best self for your loved ones. I feel like if you show up for your friends and your family members with lacking energy, with lacking motivation, you're not going to be able to support them in the best way possible. So you have to make sure that you take care of yourself, your own self-talk, your own self-love, that sort of things, before you can maximize your love for other people, the loved ones that are around you that you want to support. Takeaway number 3 is be aware of your own thoughts. And I think self-awareness is something that I've mentioned a number of times on this podcast, but I think self-awareness is probably the number 1 top thing that we need to work on in order to become closer to the best version of ourselves. I think self-awareness obviously looks differently for every single person in terms of what you are aware of and what we need to be aware of. But she was super aware of the thoughts that were going on in her head, almost to a point where I've never heard of before. Like, she talked about a lot how she had the conversations with little Terri or young Terri, but that really allowed her to know what triggered the certain thoughts that she had. And only when you know what triggers certain thoughts can you begin to work on those responses to those particular triggers. So I think that's really important to know where these things stem from, so you can know how you're reacting, why you're reacting, and how you might be able to change that particular reaction. So again, guys, my 3 takeaways. Number 1 is be unapologetically authentic. That's how she won Miss USA back in 1982, and that's how people continue today to build followings and to build influence in their own personal lives, because your true miracles show up when you're truly authentic. Number 2 is live your life for you, not in a selfish way. The only way that we can bring the best version of ourselves to our loved ones and to those that we want to support is if we support ourselves first and love ourselves first and take care of ourselves first. Number 3 is be aware of your own thoughts. Self-awareness is so important to be able to know what different external experiences trigger particular thoughts, because only when we know what triggers those thoughts can we be able to see how we react, and then we can adjust or keep reacting in the way that we are doing because of that particular trigger. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. Again, if you haven't given it a 5-star review, give it a 5-star review. That's what's going to grow this message or grow the podcast and share this message with as many people as possible. I told you at the beginning of the episode, that is one of my main goals right now, is to get reviews up, because reviews is what moves the ranks up. And that's what gets this in more ears and more eyes as well on YouTube. And if you're not on the YouTube page, go ahead and go to the YouTube page and click subscribe so you can see my energy that I have about this stuff, because I'm just so passionate about the things that I talk about. That's why I do the 3 takeaways episodes. I only pull out the things that I'm super energized about from the interview that I had the prior Monday. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Give it a 5-star review. Share it out to your friends and family members so you think you might be able to help get a little bit closer and closer to your best you.